If you've ever planted a tree with a child or with your community, you know what a profound act of hope it is. Hope for the future for all species. My name is Pollyanna. I'm head of community and philanthropy at Carbon Positive Australia, and I'm delighted to be here sharing with you as part of the Nature for Life Hub 2022. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that I'm filming on, the Kabi Kabi Gubbi Gubbi people. I acknowledge and honour their unbroken connection to country and the fact that this land was never ceded. I honour and acknowledge their elders, past, present and emerging, and any Kabi Kabi people that might be watching this video. Carbon Positive Australia is a registered Australian charity that has been planting native Australian trees and forests for over 21 years. During that time, we have restored over 5,000 hectares of land with over 6 million trees and captured 650,000 tonnes of CO2, working with landholders, communities and organisations. Part of our mission is to empower all Australians to take positive and practical action for climate change. We also want to address the challenges to rapid restoration and reforestation in Australia. We're really excited to announce our new initiative, Plant Trees Australia. In response to community and donor feedback, we've developed an online community tree planting hub for Australia in collaboration with New Zealand organisation Eat My Carbon. But before I share more about that, let's have a look at the bigger picture. We know that what we do right now has an impact on tomorrow, next year, 100 years from now and beyond that. Between 2010 and 2021, Australia lost 8.7 million hectares of tree cover, equal to a 21% decrease in tree cover since 2000. That loss represents 2.4 gigatons of carbon dioxide emissions. The majority of these losses were in natural forests, not plantations. In the period between 2001 and 2021, Australia gained just 1.4 million hectares of tree cover. That loss of tree cover is a significant contributor to Australia's increasingly warm temperatures. The IPCC report of 2021 stated that Australia is warming at a faster than average rate compared to other countries, already reaching an increase of 1.4 degrees Celsius over the last century. Across all parts of the country, the warming signal is clear and above normal levels of variability. This is pushing parts of the country to new record high temperatures, and projections suggest that this is only going to get worse. These are grim statistics, but it's not too late. Everyone who's alive at this time in Earth's history has a part to play in restoring all of our ecosystems to thriving. Everyone needs to participate in local action that removes carbon from the atmosphere, mitigates the effects of climate change, and creates resilience for communities and landscapes. Local and grassroots action is urgently needed and so potent. Nature-based solutions to the enormous crisis that we're facing, like, for example, biodiverse native tree plantings, are critical as they restore the healthy ecosystems that are crucial to human and animal health. The challenges to rapid restoration and reforestation in Australia specifically include lack of funding for grassroots community tree planting projects. Often these projects are run by volunteers with limited time and capacity to source funding, or lacking the credentials needed to be eligible for traditional grant funding. There's currently no central hub for landholders, planting groups and funders to find each other, meaning that land that could be restored isn't being restored. There's currently no method for measuring the carbon removal impact of community planting, meaning that the impact of grassroots community restoration activity isn't being taken into account by local councils and governments. Large-scale tree planting in Australia is often not biodiverse and doesn't restore landscapes. It might be limited to 5 or 6 species of tree, particularly in carbon sequestration planting projects. Biodiverse native plantings are critical to ecosystem health and restoration of the landscape. When we lose biodiversity, we lose ecosystem health, and that affects everyone, including human beings. So what's the online hub for? The online hub that we've developed with Eat My Carbon brings together everyone in the field of community planting so that millions of native trees can be planted in the right places. By using the hub, communities are empowered and funded to take action on climate change, and the land can be restored to vitality. More critically still, communities can attract and secure funding for their tree planting projects. The online hub is called Plant Trees Australia. It enables community planting groups, landholders, volunteers, and others who are already doing reforestation work or who want to do reforestation to find one another, source funding, and plant trees. Fundamentally, it helps people in communities who want to plant trees to find the people they need to make that happen. It's also a model that other countries can replicate. Excitingly, the platform also measures indicative carbon dioxide sequestered by tree planting activities that are logged on the platform. With further development funding, we can improve these measurements and create a highly accurate picture of the carbon dioxide sequestered by community planting over time. This will help local, regional, and state governments to understand the CO2 sequestration impact of grassroots community tree planting in their area. This is a long-term project with a big mission. If it's successful, we estimate an additional 2.4 million trees will go into the ground across Australia over the next 3 years, with millions more possible in the longer term. So why do this? Providing an online community hub enables all Australians to take beneficial local action on climate change. It brings people together to take positive, nature-based action. Funding community groups who might otherwise never receive funding to plant native trees in the right places allows restoration activities that might not otherwise go ahead to actually happen. Measuring indicative carbon sequestration from community planting across the country to gauge contribution to carbon neutrality enables government agencies and others to measure the scale and impact of community planting. Bringing everyone together in one online hub will enable the funding and planting of millions of native trees across Australia through community-initiated and led action. Trees that will sequester carbon, restore soil health, increase biodiversity, cool urban areas, provide habitat for wildlife, restore water cycles, filter air pollution, and so many more of the incredible benefits that trees have. And that provides long-term benefits for future generations of all species. This project contributes towards 4 of the Sustainable Development Goals: SDG 3, Good Health and Wellbeing, SDG 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities, SDG 13, Climate Action, and SDG 15, Life on Land. Plant Trees Australia can be replicated in any country around the world, and the software is ready to do that. To find out more about the platform here in Australia or in your country and how you can implement it in your country, please get in touch with us. The details are on the screen. Thank you so much for listening and for whatever your contribution is to bringing this planet back to thriving.